Well, this is the Peugeot Expert Pro. This is Peugeot's competitor in the Australian mid-sized van market, which is red hot right now. About 12 different competitors all trying to knock off the dominant Toyota Hiace. So let's have a look around it. Now this is the Pro, which is the lower spec of two. There's Pro and Premium. So this is the lower specification, lower priced, sort of more work focused model, I guess you could say. Let's have a look around it. Dead giveaway is these lots of black plastic on the body, hard wearing black plastic in places where lots of bumps and scrapes usually occur. So it's got that on the front there. It's got black plastic hubcaps, 16-inch steel wheels, and black door mirrors, black handles, black rubbing strips along the side, so black rear bumper. So it's all well protected from the knocks and scrapes that hard working vans usually get. Let's have a look inside. Really big storage bins in the door and a very clean interior layout. Sort of reminds me in a lot of ways like a Volkswagen van in ways, just the styling and the functionality. And it's got the gear indicator down here, which is just a dial. And it's interesting because if you move across into this center seat, because this is a three-seater, you can see that if you had three here, you'd have to have your legs pointing across at an angle to fit around this quite large dashboard extension, which holds the gear indicator. But they have made good use of this front bench seat, because if you pull it up, there's quite a large, or two large storage areas here, and this one's wrapped in polystyrene foam, so that would keep cold drinks cold and hot food hot, I suspect, when you're out on the job. So that's a nice touch. Another nice touch too is this, a fold down inboard armrest for the driver. This is such a good idea when you're spending long stints behind the steering wheel. Have a look inside. Quite a big cargo bay, as you can see, and a nice hard metal bulkhead between the cargo bay and the cabin, which not only cuts down a lot of noise which emanates from these rear wheel housings, but also doubles as a cargo barrier. So that's pretty handy. Nice big wide openings on the doors, on the sliding doors too. Have a look around the back. There's that black plastic bumper I was talking about. It's got dual barn doors, and these of course open to 180 degrees if need be, to make it easier to get forklift access. Its total load volume is 6.1 cubic meters, so that's just a fraction smaller than the Hiace at 6.2. So a huge amount of load volume here, and this is the long wheelbase version too, so it maxes out on load volume. There's 4 load anchorage points along each side, which is good. It'll also hold, because of its length and because of the distance between these rear wheel housings, it'll hold up to 3 Euro pallets or 2 standard Aussie pallets, so plenty of load capacity there. This one's also finished in the optional R10's grey, nice grey metallic paint, but you pay extra for that of course. It's got a really big payload too, 1.3 tonnes, just over 1.3 tonnes, which is about 300 kilograms more than the Hiace, which is certainly impressive. It's also got a higher tow rating. It'll tow up to 1.8 tonnes of brake trailer compared to the Hiace's 1.6. So on those two things alone, it's actually got more capacity than the runaway market leader. So there it is, just a quick walk around of the Peugeot Expert Pro. So that's how it looks. Let's go and see how it drives. Okay, on the road in the Peugeot Expert Pro. It's powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, and that's hooked up to a 8-speed torque converter automatic transmission. And this engine produces 110 kilowatts of power and 370 Newton meters of torque. When someone says to you it's only got 370 Newton meters, it certainly punches above its weight, as they say. It's really quite lively, energetic performance from this engine. It's got nice feel to the steering, nicely weighted, direct, good response. It's got good strong braking. The ride quality unladen is excellent. And even though we haven't put a load in this one, we have tested the smaller, the Peugeot Partner, and that had a 1-ton payload, and its performance was extraordinary for such a tiny engine. So I have no reason to think that its bigger brother, the Expert, would be any different. I'm sure it'll be able to cope with a 1.3-ton payload very comfortably. So overall, as a vehicle to drive on a daily basis, as a workhorse, it's pretty comfortable all round. There's not a lot you can fault. The only major criticism I have, though, is that it doesn't have blind spot monitoring, and it doesn't have rear cross traffic alert. Now, that's a real problem when you're driving a solid walled van, because you have these massive blind spots over your left shoulder, and to be trying to drive around without those two safety features is potentially hazardous. The market leader, the Hi-Ace, has both of those, blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. So I think that should be standard, not only in the Peugeot Expert, but it should be mandatory in all solid walled vans. But apart from that, it's not too bad. So the verdict, well, I guess you've got to look at it this way. The Peugeot Expert is about $50,000. That's about $4,000 more expensive, list price. That's list price plus on-road costs. About $4,000 more than the Hi-Ace. Now, when you're trying to determine where you get the value, extra value out of that $4,000, you have to keep in mind that this not only has a much bigger payload than the Hi-Ace, somewhere like in the region of 300 kilograms greater payload, it also has a higher brake tow rating, and it also has better fuel economy. So if you think those advantages are worth an extra $4,000, well, that's only a potential buyer can decide. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and by all means comment, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.